Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my 5 favorite knives. Now make sure you subscribe, because in my next video I'm going to be talking about why I'm not going to buy any more knives. Spoiler, it's because I like these ones, but there's a lot more to it. And when it comes to knives that are my favorite, I use these knives. Okay, every single knife I use. I don't own a Grail knife that I put up on the mantle and admire it for its looks. I use these knives, I expect them to perform, and I want them to, if I have them with me, I want them to do what I need them to do. And so I'm just going to go in order from the one that I got first to the one that I got last. And so it's going to go from oldest to newest. And the first one is my Becker BK9. This is still my favorite knife. It's the only knife that I've really upgraded. I got different handle scales for it. I got a different sheath. This is Yellow Hot Custom sheath, kinda. There's a video on that. The micarta handles, I really enjoy. This is just a great knife, and I've said it 100 times. If I go into the woods and it's a place I've never been before, or if there's woods that I've never been in, if it's my first time going there, this is the knife that I put on my hip, because I can do everything with it. I can whittle, I can make things, I can baton large pieces of wood to start fire. Everything I need I can do with this knife, and the reason for that is I've had it for so long, right? I've used it for everything. Before I started the YouTube channel, this is the knife that I had. This was my knife. It's all I had. It's the only one I used, and because of that, I used it for everything I did. I have more experience with this knife than any of my other ones, and I trust it. I rely on it. I really like this knife a lot. My next knife is the Larry Roberts Genesis. Now this one, I love this knife. I really do. This is the knife that is usually on my belt. When I started this channel, I was one of the first people to get the Larry Roberts Genesis, the LT-Rite Genesis, with the little mouse on it. And I love this thing. This is on my belt in almost all my videos. This is the one when I go to the river. This is the one I have on my belt. I really like this knife. It cuts so nicely. It does everything I need it to do. It's very easy to start fire with this knife. It's just perfect. I like the handle. The handle just fits my hand perfectly. If I was going to design a knife from scratch, it would be this one. It's like this knife was made for me. I really like this thing a lot, and I use it all the time. You can see the sheath is kind of beat up. The knife, I try to take good care of the knife. It is kind of scratched up and beat up a little bit, but I try to polish it up and clean it as much as possible, because again, I want it to last forever, because I love it. Next, we have the Mora Garberg. And now this is the stainless steel. I have both the stainless steel and the high carbon steel. I prefer the stainless steel, and this is the knife that I use in the winter. So like if there's snow and ice, and I like the stainless steel. I don't worry about it rusting. If it's raining or storming, the stainless steel, again, I don't have to worry about it rusting. I don't have to worry about it. It's not a high-end knife. Like this was over $200. This one's like $100. The BK9 is like $100. This one's like $100 as well, but I'm not going to be sad if anything bad happens to this. This, because of the BK9, because of it being my first knife, it being one that I have relied on, one that has saved me, there's a lot of sentimental value to this knife. There's none to this one, right? This is a really great belt knife. If this was your primary knife, this would be perfect, but I use it as a backup knife, and this is more than you need for a backup knife, and I just really like it a lot, and I use it, and if there's a chance that something bad is going to happen to a knife, this is the one that I grab, and nothing bad has happened to it. So that's a testament of how durable and how strong this knife is, and I really enjoy it a lot. I get asked sometimes, some people see it. The green, I have a Mora Garberg as well. And so the green actually came with the Mora Garberg, and then I just swapped it out. So the Garberg came with a black sheath, the black mount, and then the Garberg came with a green sheath, and I just swapped the knives over. The sheaths are cross-compatible, and I like the green and black combo, and so that's why it looks like that. I just swapped out the sheaths from the Garberg. It didn't come like this. Next is my Stolberg Steel camp knife. Now this is a custom handmade knife. It was super affordable. It wasn't very expensive, and it's made in USA, handcrafted. Everything on this is hand done. None of it is CNC'd, none of it, there's no heavy machinery. It's all just a bandsaw and a belt sander. And he makes the knives from scratch. You can see it's kind of dirty, but it's just having a knife that was made specifically for me. I told him exactly what I wanted. I told him exactly how I wanted it to perform, and he made a knife that I wanted, right? Now, this knife, the Larry Roberts, this knife is perfect. I love this knife, and I didn't want an exact replica of this one. And so this one I made more of a French trade style. So this one's more of a Kefhart style. And I like the Kefhart style, but I wanted more of the French trade style blade, and he delivered. And so these two knives right here are the ones that are on my belt the most, okay? And I really like both these knives. They're different. When it comes to like cooking and skinning and more of the camp chores, the French trade style, I like this one better. But when it comes to starting fire and whittling and doing more of the woodsy things, I like this one better. And so, great knife. You can't get them anymore. I don't think he makes knives anymore. I think he just got bombarded with so many orders that he couldn't keep up. And so he's just years out right now. And his Facebook page that I was using to get a hold of him, he took that down. And so I don't think you can get a Stolberg Steel knife anymore. He might come back. Again, I think he just got bombarded. MD Outdoors did a video on one of his knives, which is how I heard of him, and that got him a bunch of orders. And then I did a video of this knife, which got him even more orders. And so I think he might just be overwhelmed. I haven't been able to contact him or get a hold of him, but keep your eye open for Stolberg Steel because he makes really good knives. Then the last one is one that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. I keep using it. I keep going back. Again, how I pick these 5 are the 5 that I use the most. And you're going to see it. And those of you that are familiar with the channel have been watching for a long time, you're going to be like, how? What the? You'll know it. This is the Vengeful One. The JX5, I think. I don't remember. I keep calling it the Vengeful One. This knife is awesome. I love this knife. I use it all the time. I hate this sheath. And you guys have seen it all different. It was a weird orange color when I first got it. And so I oiled it and darkened it up to make it look nicer. I can't get my belt through here. It's annoying to get the belt through here. And so then I had a dangler on it for a while. And I don't like danglers. So now I have this black thing here. And so what that black thing does is I actually stole the idea from Matt Graham, because a lot of the sheaths he makes for his knife have a big band around them so that you can stick it in your belt. So instead of attaching it to the belt, you just slide it in and then it stops. And that's what this is. So this is just a piece of Kydex that I cut. I got a little notch in there so that it rides at not quite a 45, but it cants a little bit so I can cross draw it. So I can keep something else on my right hip, and then I can have this on my left hip and cross draw it and use it. And I prefer to use it that way. And this sheath, this sheath prevents me from using it all the time. If I had this sheath with this knife, I might not carry this one anymore. My BK9 might get retired if I had a better sheath for this one. And I keep going back and forth. I keep going, I should get a sheath for it. I should contact Doug at Yellow Hot Customs. I should get a sheath for this knife and just be done with it, right? But I have this one, right? Every time I think about spending the money, I was like, well, I'll just use my BK9. And I love my BK9. And so I don't really want to spend the money on a sheath. But if I did spend the money on the sheath, I would use this thing way more. And it's just that back and forth struggle. But when it comes to the knife itself, I really like this knife. I like the balance. When you choke up, the knife just, it almost disappears. Like the balance that you have and the control that you have when you're in that forward position, it just, I can't explain it, right? It just, the balance on it is perfect. And then when you come back here and you put 3 fingers on it and you chop, that belly really digs into the wood. And it's just, for me, it's just the way that I use knives. This was made for the way that I use knives. It's just a big chopper. It's great at batoning. You can carve and feather stick with it really easy. And honestly, these 2 knives right here, if I had a better sheath, for this one, these 2 knives would probably be the one that I carry in the woods all the time. If I could only have 2, it would be the Larry Roberts Genesis and the Vengeful One, but the Vengeful One would need to have a different sheath. If this one had a different sheath, these would be the 2 knives that those would be the only 2 knives I'd ever need to own. And so with that being said, I want to know what your favorite knives are. Leave them in the comment section. Tune in next week where I'm going to talk about why I don't want to buy knives anymore. If it's already up, it'll be up here in the top left. And I can't wait to see you on my next video.